Well, just sometimes people. Well, everybody always poses their ideas on other people, whether regardless of relationships or just society. Like, and that's the thing with stereotypes too. Like, everybody has this where you'll see somebody and already have an automatic judgment. I don't care who you are. I feel like everybody has that base thing of like you look at somebody how they're dressed and you always make an assumption.
We talked about that last week.
So it's more of,
that means you're saying judge the book by the cover?
Well, something like that. I feel like a lot of people aren't cool with themselves and that they see things in other people that they don't like about themselves and they project it a lot.
Yes.
I just feel like that's base human nature. I feel like instead of running away from those things, accept those things about yourself and come to terms with it, then move forward.
How do you counter it when you get judged in that manner? Like, how do you counter that?
I mean, you can't, because that's somebody else's thoughts. You just be yourself. At the end of the day, like that's how I feel. Like if I'm in a room and someone says, "Okay, this person's this, and that," and then they hear me talk and they change their whole thing, that's on you. You have to figure that out personally, because I'm not going to let your thoughts affect what I do.
I think that's the key is, not letting other people define what you perceive as whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, for the most part, society does have a monolithic way of, going about a lot of things.
Yep.
But it doesn't necessarily mean there's any fact or truth. You know what I'm saying? All opinions.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of where most of the way it is. You know what I mean? But
sure.
I feel like an individual, we can always define our own perception of whatever the topic may be. And I think that's freedom ultimately. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That really is. And the thing is too, it's like even if. Well, I'm gonna pose an example. Like one of my friends, he went to the OMA thing, and he was just drunk and just talking to a lot of women. And then he got banned from the next event because it was like he was overly aggressive, and he was just like he blacked out, didn't remember. And I remember talking to him about that. I was like, do you feel like I was like, do you feel like you were like trying to like you're just like harassing these women, sexually harassing them? He was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, well, figure that out. And if that was the case, then that's a part of yourself that you need to work on. It's not just like no, but that's what like exactly. So it says figure that out within you, and it's not like something I didn't come at him from any position except just neutral. I'm not telling you that's right or wrong. That's a part of yourself. Keep it in check, or accept that a part of yourself, and know not to be in certain environments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because the whole Me Too movement got a lot of like me. Like I have to apologize for things I might just say as a joke, because of the heightened sexuality of society right now is like anything can be deemed derogatory towards women.
And they got that hashtag Me Too, right?
Yeah,
I got another one. Not me.
No, exactly. Like that thing has a lot of men questioning things.
Not me. It should be. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Shaggy said it best.
You gotta keep it short though. You gotta keep it short. You know what I mean?
I was just going with Shaggy.
Yeah, let's go with Shaggy.
So that's out there already.
Mm-hmm.
No. I got a question for you guys. I got a question I want you guys to answer, and I want you to answer for ladies, like you said that you have on your YouTube that are lookers. What do women do that inspire you to be a better man? Like what?
They encourage you. They stick with you as long as you don't violate them, hurt them.
No, you specifically.
No,
not all men. I'm saying
not
you
a general.
specifically.
Exactly.
Right.
My wife.
What does your wife do to inspire you? What makes you want to be a better man?
She supports me. I don't mean like I lay at home all day and she supports me. I mean just like
mentally.
If I'm 80%, she'll fill in the 20 to make me 100. If I'm down, she brings me up. And I do the same thing for her. You know what I mean? And you have to study the person that you're with. You know what I mean? To know what does it for them on all levels. When I go to work, and I'm not sexist in saying she makes the food because she's like the phenomenal cook and everything like that. And I just learned how to boil water the other day. So I don't know anything, right?
You guys clap for him.
That's progress, right?
No, but she's so attuned to me that it's something maybe beyond her. But I'm just using this as an example. She'll dish out in a little plastic container how much food's there. And that's the exact amount of food that I will eat for the day down to the bite. It's like, how did you know that? That's just an example of how close you can be and attuned. So there are a lot of people who get into relationships, and I'm coming back to the point, but they're not bringing the enthusiasm. They're just like, okay, what can this person do for me? Whatever, take me as I am. But you got to go beyond yourself and study the other person and make that person your goal, what you submit to righteously. Now, I'm not talking about being a simp, because you know what? Simps, and people have called, oh, you're a simp. Every time you get paid, you don't know exactly how much is in, because home is taken care of. I don't have to.
Right.
I forget when payday is. It's direct deposit, but it's like, you got paid today? Because it goes in, bills are paid, food's there, refrigerators there, lights come on, whatever. The encouragement. So when I'm home, I don't want to come out because I'm so saturated with the attention of another. You know, I'm not saying another person, I'm saying her, but what I mean is that in general speaking, another person has given me their life force. So therefore, I have to reciprocate, and therefore, but you have to be transparent, completely. So what she does to inspire me, she doesn't have to do anything to like, okay, I'm going to inspire him. You know, it's just her being her, me being me, giving you all. We inspire each other. It's just like, you know, the pistons in the engine. It keeps going that way. It's like your heart beating. It beats and then it backs up. But when you know that you have a whole other person's life force behind you, you don't demand it. You have to earn that. But when they give it to you, it's a blessing, but it's a responsibility to be so blessed, because now out in the world, on a righteous level, I got to do more. There's a responsibility with that, because I can't take the fact that you're trying to inspire me to do what? To do nothing?
Right.
I'll give it back to you, but now it's synergistic, because when two people are working great together, then all of a sudden it's like 15 people. It's like 20 people.
Right.
I got so much energy that, except when I had the malaria, but she's the one who got me up out of that. She kept me alive.
Yes.
Right.
And Chase too. Yeah. Chase. Yeah.
Yeah. To follow up on that?
No, I mean on your own view.
In my own view.
Yeah, I mean, because you're coming from a wife,
Yeah.
a wife to a husband view
like
now.
Right.
So this would be a girlfriend to a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Friend,
So myself and Belinda, we've been together for 2.5 years now. December will make it 3 years officially since we've been dating, but about 3 years since I've known her. And I met her in an interesting time in my life where I was going through like a transitional period where I kind of lost my way a little bit, you know what I mean, dealing with some unsavory things, nothing crazy, you know what I mean, but, you know what I mean, definitely not, you know, the sense of who I am, how I was raised. And I got back from this trip from New York, and I decided to just completely just shift the way I was living my life. I stopped going to the same places. I kind of was very isolated, and I thought it was very divine how I ended up getting because I got back and I was like, you know, I need to go ahead and, you know, get legit, and I got this this job working for this sales company, and I got fired because I failed the drug test, but they had me working before they got the results back. So anyways, I tried to apply it to a bunch of places, and Publix was one of them, and there's a Publix across the street from me. And I walked in there wasn't feeling my vibe. I thought it was some kind of prejudice, but whatever. I'm running off the topic. So I got a call from Publix like 3 times in a row, back to back, setting the same appointment. Like, you know what I mean, they called me, hey Chase, I see your application, would like to have an appointment with you, boom boom at this time. All right, cool, great, I got an appointment. Right. Call back again like 2 hours later, hey Chase, I'm like, oh, you guys already called, set this appointment. Call back again, hey, you know what I'm saying?
What about?
The same. I don't know.
Did you apply through the computer or something?
Yeah, I applied through the computer.
Yeah,
it's like, so I went and I got the job, and, you know, I'll probably make it, but for me, it was just like interesting, and I went, and so I met Belinda. But so we kind of got synced up after that. You know, we both worked there, and then we said we want to work from home, and we both got a job working for Think Direct Marketing at home, and then we both got a job working for Morgan & Morgan. And shortly after that, I'm going to give like a little story to kind of say how she has inspired me. Shortly after that, you know what I mean, I've always had a entrepreneurial spirit, you know what I mean, I always want to, like, you know what I mean, do my own thing. I was bucking the system. I always had this kind of like thing with, you know what I mean,
righteous renegade.
Yeah, in a sense, you know, like, so also being a little immature and having like being arrogant or whatever, and I got let go from Morgan & Morgan for the same thing. Perfect attendance, you know what I mean, best conversion, but my supervisor literally told me, like, if you don't comply to the hierarchy, you're gonna get, so had this whole situation with Belinda in the room too, and I just threw an attitude, I'll turn, whatever, and So I'm venturing out, you know, doing my thing, and you know, she was such a driving force in that. Just in all the ways she's been supportive of my endeavor, and not in the sense of supportive in the sense of like, you know what I'm saying, paying for anything for me. I definitely did everything on my own, but in the sense of just like allowing me to try that, you know what I mean, to try this avenue, and you know what I mean, going forward in this way, but then also inspire me in the sense of not allowing me to slack off at all, like not hey, you said what's the you know what I mean, like constantly like, oh yeah, you know, like I can't catch a break, and not that I'm looking for one, but if I was trying to, yeah,
getting rained on.
You know what I mean, and that's what and that's what I really needed. I really needed that to you know what I mean, to make the headways, and I'm out 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going just as hard as I possibly can, and let's fast forward to this point now. You know, I've you know, built a little business thing, some regular return clients, got some gigs, some experiences, or whatever have you, and you know, decided, okay, you know, if I want this thing to grow, this business to grow, I gotta be able to, you know, I mean, invest more into it instead of taking the money and reinvest and spending it on, you know, life and whatever have you. So I recently got this opportunity at LA Fitness as a fitness trainer. So I have to take this test on Thursday that I'm studying for. I was studying for it today. I was in the library all day, and study tomorrow on Wednesday and take the test on Thursday. So as I'm at the library, you know what I mean, studying or whatever, she just pulls up after work. She pulls up and she just sits there. And, you know, like, oh, okay, what's you know, not checking on my stuff, but okay, I see you, okay, whatever, and just spends the time with me. Just always, whatever you say you want to do, I'm going to hold you accountable for it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to say you should do this. I'm not going to say, hey, do that or do that. But whatever you say, here's going to be your support. You know what I mean? And it's always been that way. So that's how she inspires me, because I want to, not only for myself, but to kind of like look at my reflection and be like, yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like to that accountability in the sense, okay, I'm walking what I'm talking in a sense, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so that's how she holds me accountable, because we see each other on that plane, and we hold each other not only accountable, but the support is real, you know what I mean? The support, like every event there at the door, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you know, why?
I want to ask both of you guys a question, because you both said something. I want to ask them a question because you guys both said something, and I want you both to speak on it just a little bit. When you both were talking about your expressions, both of you got to a certain point and you said, you know, my lady supports me, and then you both had to stop and say, whoa. You know, I'm not saying money and stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to. You both made a distinct point why did you both feel like you had to do that?
I can say for myself, because I've, you know, witnessed a lot of situations where it's like that. You know, like, you know, I'm working at Walgreens, and this girl, she's busting her tail, and you know, her boyfriend wants to be a rapper, and you know what I mean, like just listening to what she's saying, you know what I mean, it doesn't sound like someone who's really gunning towards something, but more so just like, you know what I mean, you know, kind of being taken care of. And I feel like as a man, no man really wants to, well, should allow himself to just be, I guess, babied by, you know what I mean, by a grown woman.
So do you think the support of a woman, and I still want you to answer too, brother, so do you think the financial support of a woman is negative or wrong, or
no, not at all,
something that's inappropriate, or how would you stick? Because like there are a lot of people, like I know there are a lot of people I've spoken to before in the past that when I've spoken to them and talked to them about why they dated people outside of our race, they said that those women supported them at a time when they really needed support, and now that they are where they are, they stayed with them. So they didn't have the money and they didn't have the means to do certain things, and those women had the support financially to say, oh, you want to be a director? I'll put this. Oh, you need a license to do it. They gave what they needed financially at that time, and the regular support too, but the economic support, and now they're on. So now you see them there with somebody from another race, and you're like, how did that happen? And they'll get upset when you say that, because they say, listen, I've been with this person. Don't try to act like I just got with this person now. This person I've been with 12 years.
They got
so that's what I'm saying. Why do we think
they got domesticated?
Don't you think you're changing the subject?
You're
turning it into a white and black thing.
I said another race. I didn't say white and black. I said another race.
But we know what you're saying. We know what you're saying, though.
I just recently, in February, the end of February, got my driver's license back. Right. And I just recently got my own vehicle. I lost my license due to some stuff that took place, and I parked my car and ended up giving it away because I kept getting pulled over in it a lot. During that whole time, when running around the city, I'm driving Belinda's car. You know what I mean? Like so the support is not only just it's not only just moral, but like in whatever asset, you know what I mean? The thing I think specifically in the sense of, if you know what I'm saying, you're going through something and you're with someone who's there for you, you know what I mean? Vice versa, that's automatic, you know what I mean? There's no way to feel, but I'm saying in the sense of, I think being specific on that is letting you know that because I guess we're aware that there are those kind of support where it's not a mutual thing. It's more so like someone being taken care of, and even
someone's getting taken care of. That's somebody's taking advantage of somebody.
Yeah, someone like more of a it's not a symbiotic relationship.
I see, I can get this from you.
That's a relationship. It's just imbalanced.
That's a business partnership. It's not. It's like
you never spoke about. We never got a chance for you to voice your opinion about what we said about the support. Why did you have to why did you feel you needed to clarify specifically?
Because
hey, when I say support, I'm not talking about money. I'm not.
That's a catchword.
Yeah,
especially in the black community.
Association.
And there are too many people out here who that word, it sets some of our women off.
Yeah,
because
they think money.
Not all, but some, and too many will say, "Oh no, support."
Yep.
But you see, there's some people, and this is not about. It could be anybody, and they get with you, and they might not be what the world thinks you should be with, meaning that, you know, they may not be
as attractive,
or just with this. I gotta get my head
as much education or whatever.
And see, she may see something in you, and choose to invest in you, where other people didn't see, because we judge or assess people by the worldly, carnal standards. Mm-hmm. Man, you're a busy man, So lots of times, there are too many examples out there. Like you said, the young lady that works at Walgreens, and me working in the public, I hear those stories all the time. They're sick and tired. These guys drop off a woman on a job where it's not making too much money. Where are they going? They're going home.
Taking the car to go and play video games.
They're homeboys. Yeah. Some other woman.
You
understand? So that word support is funny to me because I'm a man. But males who are not men. Mm-hmm. You can be a male because you're born with the organ that makes you a male. But a man has integrity. Yep. He has morals. He has wisdom. And men are supposed to be problem solvers. Right? Yep. So I have no problem in a real relationship where that woman may have to support the male financially for a time. And it's not just about, I'm getting up looking for a job. It could be something that he's doing on his own that just dipped a little bit or whatever. But the hustle is when it's like you got to try every avenue. If I got to work at McDonald's, I'll do it. It's much less than what I'm used to, but I'm going to keep my hands going because every blow is not a knockout blow. Sometimes you got to throw that jab out to blind the opponent so you can come with something. Mm-hmm. Just to keep your hands moving. And just to, you have men out here and women, but we're men, so we're speaking like men. So a lot of men will say, you're trashing men, trying to sound good to the women. No. Anything I say or we say, we can flip it to the other sex. Yep. Right? But there are men out here who are predators, who get around you to see how far you go or they can take you or use you before moving on to the next victim. So when you're a good man and you have a woman who takes genuine interest in you because you have something that you have genuine interest in building together, instead of, I got to find a man who has it all. Well, you keep looking because you're not going to find that. You understand?
It's true.
No matter what the person has, what you bring to the table, it's about building sincerely and giving your all. And sometimes your 100% today might be 20% tomorrow, but you give 100% of that 20%, and they're cool with that. You understand? As long as you keep swinging, that's all you have to do.
My brother Lance is so well spoken, like he,
I know.
I mean,
but let me say something though.
Talk all day.
You say it right.
I like the idea that we're giving props to women. It's a beautiful thing. I think we should all do the same to ourselves all the time. Yep. And I hear you said something about you're not just saying this. There are some women who will do the same thing. Like Chase was saying, when Chase didn't have what he needs to get up there, you know, and be the man that he wanted to be, his woman was there for him. Right. You know, giving him all he needs to be able to. If that is a support that is coming from a woman, why should that be a bad thing? I think it should be, is what a guy would do for his woman. So if the woman is doing the same thing for the man, shouldn't that be, you know?
Well, that's true.
It should be a reciprocal
I feel like anything in relationships, it shouldn't be a score. It shouldn't be, I did this for you, you did this for me. It should, like, if you love and care about somebody, like, you just do things just cause. You don't think about it. You don't think twice. You know it needs to be done. You handle it. That's it. You don't throw it in their face. You don't do none of that. You just handle your business and that's it. And if it's genuine.
For me to finish though, I think because women are more talker than women are. All right. And men.
It's not always the case, but it's because I got the big mouth in the relationship.
And men are supposed to be more of the element that holds
the stoic, rock.
Right. So because of that, a man having to, even if it is slightly depending on a woman, gets judged much harshly than it would be for the other way around.
I wanted to add another element too as well, because I think from what it sounds like, definitely in the sense of inspiring, that was the root of it, and there's so many other ways too that, I personally feel inspired in my relationship is, I think when, after a while, after, kind of acclimating with someone, I think what it is I can describe it as a reflection. You know what I mean? You see someone and they see you. So if it's true and if it's real, there's really no place to hide. There's really no place to hide. And I think coming from what we're talking about in the sense of those relationships that might be imbalanced, in the sense of someone saying, hey, I'm trying to do this thing, and then really like you were saying, a home playing 2K or out chilling with the boys or whatever. That's not true to what, and unless it is, unless the girl saying, well, I like to take care of my man and let him do his thing or whatever the case may be, but oftentimes I feel like that's not the case. But I would say just on a level of just wanting to see yourself and know that the place that you're standing is real, because this person is not. The inspiration comes from not allowing that to take place. Not that it ever will, but because that this person is so strong. She's a hustler. She goes hard for hers. You know what I mean? So and in that same aspect, that's kind of like who she is. So to be with someone like that, she inspires me by just being who she is. And when I look at her, when I look at her, I know the only way we're gonna be in that place if I'm reflecting what I'm supposed to be, and that's when we're in that place. And on all levels, when we're not seeing eye to eye, me having to be the person and be like, all right, I can have to get to the place of like, I understand that this is the root of the situation, and even as the man have to come and say, what, I'm not going to allow this to drive a wedge between us. And literally, I recently having this conversation where we were arguing about something, blah, blah, blah. And then I come back and, you know what? I'm going to surrender that to you know what I mean, just the time and space, that's going to work itself out right now. That's not more important than our relationship. You know what I mean? And to then see that truth and that connection, you know what I mean? That's how she holds me accountable, because I can see it. I can see myself. You know what I mean? And it just helps me. I'm doing my thing and I'm like, we right where we're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What about you, brother?
I can either go either way with this. So I'm not in a relationship, but I've been dealing with this girl off and on for like 3 years.
That's a relationship.
Well, it is, but it isn't.
Just different levels.
Because it's about to get deep. I was talking to her all day.
Off the light and on. And
off
and on.
She ended up going back home from out here because she discovered she had a brain tumor. And she ended up being in Tennessee for she was there for like 8 months, and she just got back home in Virginia, so she's still recovering. I've been talking to her the whole time, and the thing is, it was kind of flipped because she met me at a time where I was just I was mentally depressed. I was just emotionally fucked up from a 4-year relationship I just got out of recently. So it was just like that when I met her, and so she was my therapist for a bit. And then when she had that happen to her, I became her therapist and her support. So it flips, and that's the thing where it works. Nobody be like, oh, this is a relationship, or it doesn't click. But when you just view a person as in a way where you just do things, and then it just hits you. It just works. I'm not like, oh shit, I got to take this call. It's not a burden on me to have her in that situation, and to be. I've seen her a couple times, to see her how she was, all her hair off, chemotherapy, all that, and I still see her the same way. And she still sees me the same way mentally, and like you said, they hold you accountable, because she was like, all the things you told me you were doing, what are you doing? Okay, you did this, you did that, but what about these things that came out of your mouth? You said you were going to do this. What's up with that? So it's the motivation of keeping you going, even when you feel like you don't want to do anything that you because everybody gets hit in life. It could be a lot, and everybody gets in a funk, and it might throw off your plans. It might set them back, but to have that motivation, to have that. That backbone, that somebody's behind you, always pushing you genuinely, and they don't. The thing is, they don't want anything from you but for you to be the best person you can be, and that's it. You want that for your partner, and they want that for you. So it's just that. That is the thing of. That's all relationships and women have always motivated me, in the sense where it was always that push. But yeah.
It's true. I think what you're saying is the support system.
Exactly, and it's vice versa.
Complements each other.
Exactly, it's not because where I'm short at, she's full there. Where she's short, I'm full there. So it's we complement. We don't overpower each other. It's just a nice mesh. It's a nice mix, nice balance.
Since it's all good and rosy, and we raising this level of.
We're just flowing. Wherever it goes, it goes.
Flowing. So when is it time to walk away? When there is an argument, so it doesn't
walk away from the argument, or from an
argument.
So from an argument.
No, not from a relationship.
When I raise my voice, I walk away.
When you raise your voice, you walk away.
Because I'm not thinking clearly. Because I don't. If you yell at me, and anybody yells at me, my boss, manager, whoever, male to male, I'm like, you want to fight? Because that's all I'm doing. I'm not going to talk to you like this. You're going to talk to me like a human being. We're going to talk like people. If you're yelling, I'm going to walk away from the situation. I'm going to hit you in the face. That's it. Literally.
How can you walk away and hit in the face?
No, that's what I'm saying. Either one is going to happen, because it's like this. You don't talk like that. You don't get anything done when you're yelling. At least in my opinion. I come from a different background,
I had to deal with that. That's why my knuckles are all messed up.
Yeah, but
I deal with that.
seriously, no. It's a thing. If you can't, when I raise my voice, I realize there's no. For me, there's no coming back from raising my voice. It's just going to go downhill from there. Right. So once I realize my voice goes, I'm like, okay.
I was in a relationship with a young lady for 2 years from Tampa, and what we established in the very beginning of the relationship were certain code words we would say to each other that we'd already have in place, so then when we got in certain situations, we could call on those things and then implement them right there at the moment. So we used to have a word where we would say, I like your shirt. And if somebody says that, that means don't say another word. Like we're going too far.
Exactly.
Like we're both arguing and we're like a downhill, like and everybody's going. When somebody realizes what's going on, when they say, "I like your shirt," nobody says anything. Nobody says another word after that point. And it's funny because when the first time you do it, you'll be arguing. I remember she's like, "I like your shirt," and I was like, "What?" And told her like, "I like your shirt." I like, oh, okay. And I was quiet. And I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes she would violate it when I would say to her, "I like your shirt," and keep saying it, but she wouldn't stop. You know what I mean? It's like but most of the time.
But did it work when she had a dress on?
But most of the times, I'm just. But I'm saying,
I like your dress.
I like your shirt.
You flip it.
But honestly, most of the times it really did work because it's hey, what's going on, Hannibal? And a lot of times you're in a preparation, man, where you can't do things in the moment. You can't rationalize in the moment. So you talk about things when things are well, when things are
exactly because you're in an angry state of mind. You're not thinking clearly.
So you can have certain key code words in. It worked.
Because I remember,
I still doing the relationships now, but I just changed the words up. And
that's the beauty of having this conversation because it looks like there might be some relationship or
because
a relationship out there now that's saying, okay, look, we need to adopt that system as well. And then obviously trial by error because
the closer he gets, the more I giggle.
Oh my god,
his jokes are so funny. I see him and I start laughing.
Even still, like I remember,
you have to employ that.
I had a toxic relationship one time where
over here, man.
me and her was so crazy. We used to say this. It was like, I love you to the point that I hate you. And it wasn't good, but it was like we were friends. We knew each other for a while, though. I knew her for like 8 years before we even started dating, so we kind of knew about each other. So we ended up like growing to understand how not to be in relationships. Because it would be like, that was when I was like super young. I was like early 20s, and I remember she just like used to like pull my hair and like physically. I'm just like, yeah, just get the anger out. I'll just let her hit me. I wouldn't even do anything. But it was just more of a learning experience too, because I feel like some people don't go through things and they think things are all rosy and relationships are all rosy all the time, and that's not the case.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Before you flow,
okay,
just answer that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just be silent. If a person's going off on you,
it's not easy all the time.
To speak back to them. If they're getting a little more accelerated in their aggressive behavior towards you, and you feed into that, it's like a hurricane over the warm Gulf waters. It's only going to pick up more strength.
Right.
See?
You got to get to the root.
Yeah, and it's also like keeping your foot on the gas pedal. You're feeding into it. Take your foot off the gas pedal.
True.
Just be quiet.
Right. Because a lot of times it's not even
you.
It's not even you that's angry at.
It's not easy.
Because sometimes you take your foot off the gas pedal, and the next person
who's the bigger person.
start going even harder. Are you not responding?
No. Listen, either they're going to have to fall asleep, they're going to want something to eat, or they're going to want something to drink, or they're going to have to doo-doo. Something's going to happen. They got to say.
Let me just say this real quick. I do agree with you that what we should try to do is to be quiet. But the reason I believe that is because when you're arguing with a person going back and forth, it's very difficult to remember what you said. You know, you're always, you said this, but do you remember what you said? And what I noticed that my mom used to do is that my mother would be quiet. And when my father would be arguing and beefing, when he tried to think back, all he could hear is his own words. Because she said nothing. So then he'd have to go and apologize to her, and she'd say, well, go out in the living room and apologize loud enough for Johnny the Tiny they can hear you just as loud as they heard you when you was, you know. Right. And he'd have to go out and say, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? You know, she would say like the same way, in the same manner you flip, apologize in the same manner. But she used to do it when she just got quiet, and all you could hear is his own voice. So if you have the right temperament to do that, but you know, sometimes women can, they can draw it out you, man. Like that, you respond, but say something.
But that's
why I like the code word.
Yeah,
both be quiet.
That teaches
everybody be quiet.
To master yourself when you think about those situations.
Yes.
If you can conquer yourself and master yourself, there's nothing out there that can touch you.
Facts.
And there's always something that's going to get you. It's like being in a fight. You can win the fight, but you're still going to walk away looking bloody and maybe like you lost the fight, but you won the fight. But when you catch a blow, that's a reason. If somebody right hooks you, you got to keep your left hand up. When you keep getting hit with that, that's your fault now, because you know it's coming. So you have to master yourself, your temperament, and know that, okay, if a bunch of people are screaming around you or a person's arguing with you, if you calm, you could be angry and wanting to go back at them. but it makes no sense because it's going to escalate into something that you end up in jail, you end up breaking up. And even still, honestly, at this age, like I say to my wife, I said, God forbid something happened to you, that's it for me. As far as wanting to invest and build and all that stuff, yeah, I'm a man, you see things, but I've been through everything in life, right? And the time to invest in, I'm not saying anybody who gets into an argument with their woman or their wife, that woman's a foolish woman. But what I'm saying is that after all I've learned, to invest in someone, when I see those red flags coming up, it's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
You know, but you want to grow together. If you both want to grow together and get to a higher level, you both will learn from that experience. If you sit down later on and say, listen, after the argument, after you've been quiet for 3 or 4 days and didn't say nothing to each other, and both sleeping on the edge of the bed, like you're walking a tightrope, you know what I mean? And you sit there and you say, listen, what happened the other day, we all right now. I'm sorry, but we got to talk about it, break it down, so this never happens again.
Let me just say this real quick, and I'll let you guys. Just want to say this once again. To me, preparation is the key to avoiding that, as opposed to waiting and then saying, hey, next time we got to do better right at the moment. Quick example, I've already made up in my mind and told myself years ago, I will not allow a person from another race to call me the word nigga and I lose it. I already made my mind up. Right. It's not going to be a trigger word for me. They're not going to say, watch me say this, and he's going to go nuts. I'm going to look at him and be like, okay. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I've already made my mind up already. So when the time comes, it's not like I'm trying to chill in the moment. Because the person may have the extra attitude, say it in the right position, but I've already thought about it, meditated on it, and I know. So that's just another example. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, is I think most of all of business are subjective. You know, it depends on the person. Yep. If you have it, if it is your mannerism to be able to just take the moment and say, look, I'll be the bigger person here, I'll walk away when there's an argument. That is you, and that's props to you. Not everybody's like that. It could be the woman doing the same thing. It could be the man doing the same thing. But I think it's best. I can understand you having the code word. The code word is great, but I think the easiest is just one of those parties just walk away and then come down when things are calm. Because we say the most horrible things in the heat of the moment. So, but if you just go away, come back, you know, you will have reasons.
But it makes a question.
Think back to what the argument is about.
But don't you both have to talk about doing that before you do it? Don't you both have to say, hey, when something happens, let's just both walk away? Don't you have to say, don't you just walk away? You know why you can't? You know why you have to? Because your lady will say to you, and it's happened to me before, I was talking to you, and you just walked away. You don't care what I had to say or what I was talking about. It was like, no, I was tight, and I had nothing positive to say, so I walked away. I didn't want to say anything wrong. And show you like, you don't respect me when you do that.
I was like, hold on.
It's preparation. You're trying to get away from me, baby. You can't get away from it.
No, listen.
You have to have preparation.
Listen. I think it's all a case of if you do, you're dead. If you don't, you're dead.
Yeah.
But one thing is, you just insert this into yourself, and you say to yourself, all right. And that's why I said the bigger person between the two. I know there's always that kickback that you walk away from it when we are having an argument, but I am getting to a point where I think that this argument that we are having is going to a very heated area. And for that reason, there has to be a bigger person among the two that says, look, I am going to just leave. Because when you leave, you have time to think through, and then you see that it's not just you, but her, but think through and then come back and settle.
If I can hop in right here, I think it's a perfect mixture of that and of both of what you guys are saying. Cause there's something that I came to I heard. I was watching. I can't remember exactly what I was watching, but it was something someone said that I feel as if that's something that I try to practice now in my relationship. It's not me versus you. It's us versus the problem. You know what I mean? And always, whenever that perspective is understood, like as soon as it starts, it's like, okay, there's a problem, but we're on the same team. And as long as we never lose that perspective, I find it so much easier to solve it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but as soon as it starts, it's like the premeditated understanding whenever there's a situation, and then also to be the person to say, I'm not going to let this be the wedge between us.
I'm not going to let this.
We're both going to be like, we see it, we're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, hey, we already know what team we're on, you know what I mean? And we go, all right, so let's deal with this situation here.
Right.
Exactly.
So now we're both side to side looking at a problem, like, okay, well, let's, instead of us looking at each other with a problem in the middle of it, trying to fight it out, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
But then
that's
again,
something,
though,
yeah.
Also,
but then
I
again,
think-
let me say this real quick. It depends.
like-
It depends on what the argument is about.
Well, that is very
That's
true.
very
That
true.
is
That's
very true.
Yeah.
The subject, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Context.
Yeah.
Context.
Yeah, if it's your fault. Yeah, if it's your fault,
Yeah.
you don't have any put it over there. Like, yo, man, oh my God, somebody cheated. We gotta fix it. What? It's not me. It was not me versus you.
It wasn't me.
It's us versus cheat. No, we gotta whoop cheat.
Yo, it was this big old booty, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do.
Hey, we gotta go fight her. That's what it is. I know where she works. Like, let's go.
I think what you just said now, it's it's something that's either seen or read where the guy came home and he says he has a problem, and the wife said, whatever problem we have is us problem, all right? And then she said, we have a baby coming. What do you mean we have a baby coming? What do you mean?
We got a baby on the way. I just want to let you know that I'm just, see that. You
So
might as well
that-
not even go home with that.
That is not an us moment anymore.
Yes.
That's a you moment.
Right.
It definitely doesn't matter the situation. It definitely does. And I think I feel fortunate that, you know what I mean, I've always, sometimes I'll even say, because we're being open, Belinda will like, when she's talking to her friends, she'll be like, you know what I mean, we just communicate so well, and the truth is, and I said the truth is, I communicate well. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth.
I carry the team. What you mean?
You know what I mean? I'm the Kobe.
You say that shit gonna rip like your brain, hit you, and you're like,
Yeah.
we communicate so well,
Yeah, I say it when we're alone, but that's the truth of the matter. I think so. It comes down to the fact that somebody does have to be the one who takes their ends
That is
and
very
handles
true.
the situation because as like we were saying, us being the center space, you know what I mean, and kind of allowing, because sometimes I do need to allow just a little bit to kind of get a better understanding of what you're feeling.
Right.
I'll allow the swaying, you know what I mean,
Right.
so I can kind of get a perspective. But I've already accepted the position that I'm have to be the person who's gonna
Can I
keep this
ask you
whole
guys
thing.
a
You know what I
question?
mean?
This
Yeah.
is kind of like a question I've never heard anybody ask any brothers before. No, it just came into my mind. Is it important to you, or do you think it's more important that your lady like you more, or that you like her more? Like, do you think that's a factor? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you think that's a factor? Because you know how sometimes you can already feel in a relationship where you love the person, but their love for you is stronger, like it's more dire, or sometimes the other way around, where you love a person to death, and you like, I know they wouldn't do this much for me, but it doesn't matter. Like,
My grandma told me it's
think-
better to have them more in love with you. And that's from my grandma.
right?
Like, so
But
she
you
told
know
me that.
what,
I just
though?
kept it in my
Does your
head.
grandma
I
talking
think-
about like whoever the other person is, or is it depend on like the woman should love the man more, or just
No,
whoever?
like in my
She just mean
like
you.
whoever,
It's-
yeah.
so
So
in
the woman,
general, you
yeah,
want your other
exactly.
person to love
To love
you
you
more.
more because you can have an obsession with someone and love them more, and I feel like I don't know. I've been on both ends of that before. And I still agree with my grandma.
But I agree with
It is very dangerous.
I agree with Barry White. He said it's not a 60-40, not a 70-30, but a 50-50.
Oh my God!
And I know I've heard that statement updated where people say now
Yeah.
it's not 50-50, it's 100-100.
Ooh.
Both people
Ooh.
give everything they have for it. Like, and both people are pumping the gas full power. It's not this person, it's not that person. That's why I find a lot of the shifts in in families, the way that we
Right.
view it to them modernly, kind of interesting. because there's a lot of people who think that like, oh, men should be the people that go out and make the money and whatever. I'm like,
well, that's how we gather.
Yeah,
that's
very
That's the hunt and gather.
Yeah, that's the hunt and gather. Yeah,
you go get the food, you bring it home.
I bet you did. To me, I just think this like hunting and gathering is like that's a very like that worked back before y'all had guns. And my wife can be like, oh, clink clink, sniper rifle, bam, there's a deer.
You might be the chef. You might be able to like saute and
slay and all that. There's an opportunity here as the world develops and as we evolve that both parties can give 100. However, we also have to come to terms with the fact that we are not the same. We are unique. So what we give is unique within the relationship. So I guess like both people don't have to go work 40 hours a week.
No, true.
Both people don't have to be like that. But whatever it is, you're given 100. I think keeping in mind that you want someone to love you more than you love them is a dangerous place to be. Because when somebody is crazy about a person who isn't, what you get inevitably, you get manipulation and you get lots of dangerous, negative character behavior.
It's not always. That's not always the standard.
However, the scary thing is, it depends on who that person is, which is a huge dice roll. Because I know me, it's like because of the way I've been raised and the way that I feel about people. I don't think you could put me in a situation where I'd be like, shit, now I'm about to take everything from this person because it's so easy. I just wouldn't do that. But not everybody is like me. So and not everybody is like that.
So
I think to me,
I've been in that situation.
I think it's better. All right, my advice would be to be friends than saying, oh, because if you think about it, your friends, you will always get them back.
Exactly.
Go, oh man, you crazy friend, come on back.
Yeah,
but when it comes to love, it's almost like a hammer that just went down. It says, man, you went off the line and that's it. You know,
and that's the way we view things. Yeah, that's how we would say relationship. We should just call it a friendship, a partnership, or whatever. Because once you say certain things in your head, you see it a certain way, whether you know it or not. Yeah. Psychologically, how you associate words, it's in you. So it's like, yeah, instead of looking at it as a friendship, and it'll always be real.
I mean, love is great. Love is something you actually cannot explain because it happens between the two of you. All right. But if you believe in the idea that we are friends, then it's easy to forgive your friend than for you to say, I am so in love with this person when they misstep. You know, you just bring the hammer down on them and says, no, this is a no, you didn't no. I'm never going to forgive you because,
honestly,
you know. So I think friendship is
honesty.
Yeah, how does honesty tie in?
I remember I had a relationship too where me and this chick was like, we were together, but not really. We were still open. It would be like, she'd be like looking at dudes on her phone. I'm looking at chicks. I'm like, yo, what do you think about her? She's like, da-da-da. Like, same shit like that. Like, that. We were so real with each other. Literally that real. Like, so if you can be that real with it, we didn't have anything to argue about. Oh, you cheating, you fucking with the zoo, da. No, like, I already know what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. Like, I know what you're doing, regardless of what. You have no reason to lie to me. I have no reason to lie to you.
Yeah.
I remember back in the days, anytime I would lie to a chick, in my mind, I would just make it up in my head like it was a TV sitcom.
Right. Yeah, you play it out.
You play it out. TV sitcom. Somebody tell a chick a lie, and then it'll be like all for stupidness. Like, you know, like I was just,
exactly.
You know, it'll be like something small, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And the next thing you know, it's like, then when I'm explaining it to him, I'm explaining to him just like, did you see that episode of Different Strokes? You remember when Arnold no, nigga, like, no. It would be like something so small, like, oh, come on, baby, you can't be mad at that. Like, what?
Yeah, like, I remember I used to do that, too. I just, like, because this girl, she didn't like my friend, and I was like, yo, I wouldn't tell her when I was at his house. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming back from the store. I'll be there in, like, 10 minutes. 40 minutes past by hour. Where you at? I'm still coming back from the store. I was literally chilling at my friend's house. She didn't like when I went over there because it was just, I would be on some dumb shit, just trapping. Like, because that's what she didn't want me in that environment. So it's just like...
I think that's the other part as well, too. Apart from friendship, is also the understanding. If you understand that this man puts his shoe over here, you know, then you know.
Exactly. You accept those things.
Yeah. If you accept those things, is understanding. Yeah. As opposed to saying, this is my way or the highway. You can't put your shoes in there. You know, that's when all these
Yeah, it's
And
always
a lot of
fighting.
that-
That little push and pull. That push and
Yes,
pull.
yes.
Like,
And a lot of that comes from, I mean, like in time that you invest in a person, you know? Like, because right now I'm in the longest relationship I've ever had, and just and it's,
that is powerful. That is positive.
all right, sweet.
Get
And
them
it's
new
just,
jokes.
and it's been
He's like getting new jokes.
Right.
Wow.
Material.
right. And it's been.
Comedians.
Yeah, I don't think we've met. Yeah,
Carlos.
Carlos, nice
Yes.
to meet you, man. I'm Hannibal.
Yeah, he's getting
Nice to meet you.
But yeah, and it's just there's something different about being in a relationship for a significant amount of time. We've been together for about 1.5 years, which is pretty big at this stage of our lives or whatever.
Right.
I mean, if we were in high school and together for 1.5 years, that's like 30 years.
That's marriage.
Yeah.
That's technically marriage
That's
in
high school. Like,
Like,
y'all have kids by then. High school.
Pretty much.
Like,
Engagement ring, all the whole
Yeah, exactly.
everything.
Met
all
the
that.
parents.
Right.
But so I found that like when you invest a lot of time into a person, you start to figure out the things about them. You figure out how they do things, how they handle stress, how they handle particular situations, and that's something that, at least in my experience and from what I hear, you don't get that fast, and you have to be ready to invest long term to figure that stuff out.
Or you just pay attention to details.
And you pay attention to detail, right? But even then, it's like the more time you take, the more details. You
Right, no, exactly.
I
So
mean,
you,
and for me, it just seems that like the longer that you're with a person, as long as like they're if they're a healthy partner, the longer you're with a person, more things come up that make it, even in theory, easier to go further the
It
distance.
does. It progresses.
Yeah, it progresses, and things get stronger, making it more. Maybe not easier, but you have more tools at your disposal to make it last longer. The thing there is, it has to be a person you legitimately want, that legitimately wants you, and that you share similar values as far as where you want to go with your lives. Because for me, that seems to be one of the things that people are struggling with when it comes to finding relationships and long-term ones, is the partners they chase are people who out the gate aren't like healthy partners. I'm not saying that there's like people out here like, oh, they ain't no good for nobody, but what somebody wants isn't what they want or need, and they might be going after someone because they're fine.
right.
But then
that's
it's a
that
person,
fast food. I
Yeah.
call that fast food. It's there just because it's there.
But
You don't have to
then
stop
again-
and get it. It's right there. It's
But then again,
enticing.
that's very powerful coming
It's
from
fast
you,
food.
because you just said your
longest relationship.
your longest relationship was 1.5 years.
Well, that's the one I'm in right now.
So you're learning as you go. Is that what it
Right,
is?
so how long do you guys think
So-
the honeymoon phase is? The honeymoon
Yeah.
phase. How long do you guys think that is?
That's
Like, 'cause that
I
honeymoon
wanna-
phase,
I wanna-
everybody's perfect in that phase.
I want to answer that and follow up with that as well. I feel like cause it's been 2.5 years now as far as in a relationship, and I feel as if we're going back through like recycling that honeymoon phase. I feel like
and that's a beautiful
it's good
thing.
if you
That is
recycle that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it could have been because I was away for like a few months.
Well,
but
yeah. See that? Yeah, that does help.
You know,
That does
a mentor
help,
told me that he said, I forgot how he worded it, but it was so real. It was
You gotta
like,
make
yo,
people miss you in some
you
sense.
have to. You can't over. I don't know how. I don't know how to put
Stay
it.
awoke.
Yeah, not even
Right,
overstay welcome, but it's
exactly.
like
Yeah, it's
you
been
have
said in
you
so
have
many
to give
ways,
that
yeah.
space every now and then. And everyone I met that was in a long-term relationship kept saying, give you guys need to give each other space.
Yeah,
Give each
like,
other,
take
keep
them
telling me,
on board,
now I'm seeing why that's important. But to follow up with that is what you were saying, because you have such an amazing perspective on just relationships, you know what I mean, and I'm now in a place where I'm starting to find the value in really investing the time into the work and stuff like that. And I also say it was Red Table Talk I was watching, and it was Willow, who she was like, oh, you got to climb the mountain to see the view or whatever. So I'm now in that place where I'm the value in doing so. But to be honest, when I first met Belinda, and this is not something I've ever shared, but I'm like, just in the sense of like, if we're gonna talk, let's talk for real. Like, when I first met her, like I said, I was isolating myself. I was only thing I could watch was Animal Planet. You know what I mean? I was just spending a lot of time alone. Like I was in an interesting state of mind. You know what I mean? Complete reality shift. You know what I mean? Dealing with a lot. I was dealing with a lot of depression, paranoia, anxiety. You know what I mean? I was just really trying to get my equilibrium, my vibration together. You know? So that's where I met her, and I wasn't really dealing with anyone, but you know what I mean. I'm in Publix now. We're in the deli, and I asked this girl, you know, what kind of music she listened to. She's talking about Boss. She put me on the Boss, which was now one of my favorite rappers. She's just so animated, and we're in the back. She was helping me with the dishes. I had to go wash the dishes in the deli, and she came in the back. Not dishes, the trays and stuff like that. And she comes in the back and starts. Yeah, we met at Publix.
I didn't know you worked in Publix.
Yeah. I worked at Publix.
I got a brother. Someone out here in the struggle.
She comes right there. Yeah. She comes back there and she's helping me with it, and I asked her about music, you know, just trying to spark a conversation with this girl, and she just starts talking, and then I just remember that's kind of infatuation, you know what I mean? But it's very much on a, like, I don't know her, you know what I mean? But boom, boom, boom. So I started just giving her rides home. It's like, you know, before my license got suspended, I was just giving her some rides home, and we'll talk in the car, we'll talk whatever. And, you know, as time progressed, you know what I mean, our relationship progressed and things of that nature. But for a while, I was just like in the place of, look, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm trying to do. Right. Like, I feel like we're vibing, you know what I mean? I don't want to complicate it, you know what I mean? Let's just keep it rocking how it's rocking right now. And like, you know, but at the time I was, you know, going out with my friends still. I was on a good path. I feel like that kind of, you know what I mean? I was dipping a little bit, and then you know you want to get a drink, like, you know. I said that. Right. So I go out with my friends, and I'm drinking. I'm driving drunk back to her apartment. You know what I mean? I'm knocking on the door. I'm messed up, and you know what I mean? And then she told me, she was looking at me, and she was like, you know, I don't know. I think this guy's an alcoholic. I think this guy has a problem. I think not really. And she's like, you know, I don't know if I want to be with somebody like this. And I'm in a place where I really like this girl. She's cool. You know, I'm attracted to her. You know, we're vibing, but I don't even know if I ever want to be in a relationship right now. I just got out of a crazy one where there's a big imbalance. You know what I mean? Like what you were asking about, you know, definitely I was the person who was leaning a lot more into the situation and not knowing when it was time to let go. Just end up messing my whole situation up. Just let's, you know what I mean? And so
fall into straws.
Yeah, you know, and so it wasn't, but somehow we were able to find some kind of sustainability, and we just kept on moving, you know what I mean? Just kept on moving, and things slowly started making sense. And I feel as if like this wasn't a relationship that started with either of us. We both had serious like issues, you know what I mean? Like serious issues. And I remember the first time I realized she had a temper, man. We got in an argument. She just like threw something, like, you know when somebody throw some shit like, I just want, I'm talking about throw some
like
shit.
Hard, just like trying to aim,
You know what I mean? Baby, I love you so much. You know what I mean? We're vibing right now. You know, you know what I mean? So you know, and I definitely had my situations too. I had a lot of I'm still a dreamer. You know what I mean? I had a lot of pride and a lot of the stuff that I'm still working out. For the longest time, I thought she was the feds. Like, some weird, like, you know.
You was oh my God.
Paranoid.
I thought I was the only person who thinks that. I'm like, yo, things going too well. White people paid you, didn't they? Put them hands up. Show me that wire, girl. I ain't playing with you.
Super paranoid. Super.
What type of weed y'all smoking? What type of weed y'all smoking, guys?
That's all organic.
But you know what I mean? So,
I think the effects you're relating to right now is you pinching yourself and you're with a girl.
Right.
You're just like, whoa.
The point is,
how do I get here?
The point is,
I'm looking for cameras in her room. I'm like,
the point is, neither of us had where we are at now. We're still learning, and I feel as if I'm coming to that place. Like as I'm listening to you, I'm understanding, because I feel like I'm getting to that place. But I feel as if, you know, sometimes what this relationship has done is allow me to look at other relationships a different way. Because sometimes I'll be like, you know, I used to be like, man, blah blah blah, but people sometimes aren't in their place where they need to be at a time, but they come across the person that they need to be with. You know what I mean? Yes. And sometimes it takes a little bit of, like, you know, a little bit of that work together. Sometimes it might be good if they already done the work separately and they come together and they both have like a good head on their shoulders. But I feel as if, just as a testament to my relationship, you know, it helped me to really understand that, you know what I mean, like this whole relationship, love, God, universe thing just works how it works sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes we learn along the way, sometimes we have to learn ourselves, sometimes we just have to go through what we got to go through, and sometimes, you know, I'm just grateful that, you know what I mean, that we're able to grow and to get to this place. Yeah.
Let me ask you. I have a $1 billion question.
We're gonna have to wrap it up.
I have a $1 billion question before we wrap it up. You know, I hear new love here, 2.5 years. I have the newer love here, 1.5 years, and I know Johnny professed about some love as well. And you said either relationship or no, you're still balancing it out.
Yeah, still balancing.
Let me ask the $1 billion question. When is it the right time for a guy to pop the question?
Well, I say it's to ask a woman to marry him.
Yes.
2 years. Woo. 2 years.
I disagree.
2 years.
Because I was in a 4-year relationship, and I'm
2 years. Wait. You said 2 years.
I've heard that.
How many years? And then you have to expand on those years. What would you say? How many years would you say?
You know what the crazy thing is? I don't know.
Just go with the years first. You'll expand later. What would you say?
I would say 5 max.
5 max. So max. 2, 5.
I would say yeah, like depends on how you're riding, you know what I mean? 5 sounds practical, you know.
5
depends
sounds
on how you're going
practical
about
too.
it, yeah.
And then you would say.
I'll still say 5.
5.
You got to see all the craziness of the person.
We'll start with you.
You gotta see all their craziness.
We'll start with you. Start with your 2 years.
Yeah, before he goes, let me ask, how old were you when that relationship happened?
Early 20s, but she was older. I was 22. She was 33.
Woo!
Don't break it though. Let him start. Let him start the 2 years.
Okay,
what would you say? 2 years.
I learned a lot in that relationship.
Let me say 2 years. First, when I said 2 years, I'm not saying that a pure person or a couple should get married in 2 years. I'm saying you should not ask a person to marry you until you've dated for 2 years.
Oh, that's the minimum. That's the minimum entry level.
Right,
Okay, I agree with that.
That changes the statement.
I agree with that.
Now, after that, if you want to get married in a month after that, you can. If you want to get married in 2 more years, you can. But I think it takes at least 2 years before you ask someone to marry.
Okay.
So now, do you still need me to elaborate?
No.
Because that's my answer. Now, there's a reason why I think
you said you're giving your reason. So
keep going on.
What would you say, Hannibal? You said 5 years.
Now I said 5 years max. Now, your statement about that being the minimum, at least for me, completely shifts how I would answer the question. What I think the minimum is, I would say that the minimum is like 1 to 2 years, like minimum. Because like the weird thing for me is I've asked people to come to my job, the Publix I work at, and some of them were like, oh yeah, we got married after like a couple months of knowing each other and have been together for years, which blows my mind, because I'm in a place right now where the person I'm with, we were talking about it today, I honestly want to be able to look at her in 40 or 50 years and be like, we pulled this shit off. We made it happen. We got together, we stayed together, raised a family, bam, we did it. This is the person I want to be with. However, my thing is, it's like, I think so much of it has to do with how both people grow and how you move, because sometimes, to me, one of the hardest things about a relationship is you don't know where the other person is, and depending on where that other person is, I think out the gate this is going to succeed.
Can I explain my 2 years now?
Yes. I know. I mean, you didn't. You're a politician, man. You didn't actually.
I didn't answer the question. Man, why y'all so smart?
Yeah, you just danced all around that, bro.
Listen to this for just 1 second. We all know within a year there's 4 seasons, right? Yeah. Within the 4 seasons of a year, different things happen. Whether you have your tax return, whether you have what is it called, Valentine's Day, you have Resurrection Sunday or Easter, you have summer where people are getting off from school, you have back to school, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas. Now what I do is this. During the year when you're dealing with a person, you're observing their behavior within the year. How do they respond to these things? I know certain people, when tax time come, they get funny. They don't want to deal with you. They think they all lie, blah, 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 blah. Now, that just may be 1 year. They may not act like that the next year. But let me just keep going. You have that. Then you have Valentine's Day. But some people are like, I don't care about that. That's a Western thing. That means nothing. Then you have other people like, you didn't give me anything? Like, wow, I know I didn't ask, but so you get that. Like I'm saying, then you have like for people who have children, you have when school is being let out. Do they get stressed out? Are they upset? Do they have a lot of anxiety? What's happening with the kids this summer? Is it unbearable? So all I'm saying is all the different things that happen within a season, you get an opportunity within a year to see how a person responds. Then you take one more year to see if it was just a fluke. No, do you understand what I'm saying? Because
I do.
The next year, it could be different. They may do the same thing, but they may do something different. But you get that second year to see, okay, is it the same thing again? Is this a routine? Is this how they behave? So that's why, to me, when I meet women and I talk to them, I hear a lot of women be saying, like, oh, 6 months, 9 months, or 1 year. Like, they're not playing games, especially when their clock is ticking around the age I am with it. Like, I'm not sitting there waiting, like, it's not or it is, and you should know. But to me, I always explain to them, to me, 2 years is the minimum. Because the thing is this, a lot of us, we can have a lot of pride about ourselves, but a lot of times we don't even know ourselves. A lot of times we don't even know who we are and know ourselves, so it's hard to know another person. But at least with 2 year resume, you can say, I seen how they responded under a certain amount of pressure under different circumstances. After 2 years, I can judge and say, now I can take this person serious. We can be inclusive. We can be, you know what I'm saying? Like you can take it after that 2 years to go to that level. But I think it takes 2 years.
So you'll go with 2 years.
I'm still sticking with 5. Like you said, I want all that craziness to come out.
I would say at this point, I know
that. Wait.
I want to know if I can do it.
You said all their craziness.
Yeah.
Wait. I think it takes 2 to tango now. So why would it be all their craziness about your craziness?
No, because their craziness, I might have an adverse reaction. It might pull something out of me that I didn't know I had. So I might have to go to therapy in that time, like and maybe in there for 2 years.
Man,
for 2 years.
At this point, I know that I want to marry Belinda. I know that I want to be with her the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I know that I want to have a family with her, and I say that, you know what I mean? I want to watch you grow old. I want to really experience that. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, and it's not a but in the sense of like contradictory to it, but still we're gonna throw it in there in the sense of we just still having to not allow that feeling to be the only reason I'm making this decision. You know what I mean? Because I still have a whole life to live, and she still has a whole life to live, and she still has things that she hasn't even tapped into yet. And I know that, you know what I mean, proposing or bringing this into the equation, no matter how we say, okay, we're still going to want to do these things, it's going to be like, oh, this is what we're doing now. You know what I mean? And I want to make sure that when we do make that transition, we've at least started we've already sprouted some other things for ourselves, so when we get into it, it's not just, okay, this is what it is, and then, life happens, and then you turn 35, and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but I look at myself, I look at my family's relationship. My father got married to my step mother 2 or 4 months after knowing each other. And they're still together right now. I don't know if it's now it's recorded. I don't know
how many years has it been?
It's been now about I would say somewhere around 15 years, maybe. Wow. But they did get a divorce in the middle of all that, and then they got back together. My grandparents have been together for quite some time, still together right now. You know what I mean? And I take the beauty from it, and at the same time, I'm just a student of life. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that I'm gonna get it right, or if there's even anything to get right. You know what I mean? There's just like, okay, how would I like for this to go if I can have anything to say about it? And I think maybe 5 years. 5 years sounded great, and you know what? You're so well spoken. I'm like, if he says 5 years, I think that's the right amount of time. He
said 2 years. I said death.
But I think really maybe I'm sorry, Mom.
Go ahead.
I think really I think realistically, I know now that I want this, and because of that, I'm pushing to make sure that I live, and she does too, because I already know what I got planned for you. Before you even look around, I'm gonna be in there. You know what I mean? So you need to start right now, because I don't want. You know what I'm saying?
How old are you now?
I'm just turned 27, and she just turned 26.
So you're taking the 5 years from now, or is it
No, 5 years. 5 years. 5 years.
Is it three more years, or
2.5
years?
Hannibal made 5 years sound good, but
Yeah,
How long, wait, how long have you guys been dating?
2.5 years
So
now,
now,
so you've
3
got
years. 3 years.
3 more years.
Yeah, no, 3 years tops.
3 years.
And
So
we're coming
another
upon
year.
3 years right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can, let me go back, because the interesting thing for me is, like, I'm a young man, but like to a degree, I know what I'm looking for in a partner. So I'm in the same boat. Amanda and I have been together for about a year and a half. You know, scraping off some stuff where we didn't put the title on because of family and stuff like that. But like, if you, I guess what's the word? If you look at our relationship to scale, we've been together for about a year and a half, and I already know that I want to marry her too. For me, the hang up becomes. Yeah, the hang up for me becomes that, like, I know that's something that I want to invest in. I, for myself, am not entirely sure if I'm ready or if she is. We both know that we want to, but we're both moving accordingly with that in mind. So, like, we're both together now, investing in each other and hoping to get married. Doesn't mean we're going to get married right away, especially because I haven't figured out what the hustle is like for me in my career. As an entertainer, as an actor, as all of those things, I'm still not there yet. And I refuse to begin a family with, at least without me knowing what that's like. Without me knowing what it's like to be traveling the country doing comedy, how much money I'm making on average from stuff like that, what acting is like and stuff. I still don't know. So my thing is that, for one, I want that figured out. Also, she's still going to school. She graduated from UCF earlier this year. She just got accepted to a university up in Georgia, which I'm kind of bummed out about, because she's going to be a 7-hour drive away. I don't have the resources to make that trip all the time, but I should be able to go up there, visit her, whatever. I got family up in Georgia as well. But that's a challenge for us as well. I do not want to get married out the gate, because we're still going around and doing stuff and
that
committing to life.
Forces you guys to kind of like to separate y'all plans.
Yeah, which, like you said, the distance grows fondness or whatever. Yeah. What I would also like to say before is that throughout our relationship, I know that I at least have legitimately judged her character to the best that I can. More time comes with a more on-point judgment.
But that's exactly what I was about to say to you, is that the challenge that you're going to have to be aware of is that, like you just said, this is your first serious relationship in a long time. So the thing is that you got to be able to balance it up against something sometimes. Like, in other words, you know when older people will say, hey, date people, man, like, you know, like, have fun. Like, they'll say, like, you know, get some experience. Like, it's not trying to say that you need to soak your royal oats or anything like that, but sometimes when
you don't know if a joke's going to land unless you practice that joke, right? Pretty much get the experience that you need, because a lot of people can tell you something, but until you're in it, until you're really living that, like, you can read about how to do something all day until you're physically doing that with your hands, then it's a whole different ballgame.
But you know what?
It's a whole different ballgame.
But one thing, number one,
I'm still sticking with 5
Number
years.
one,
I'm still sticking with 5 years.
One thing you guys are not talking about is the fact that
get a chance to talk.
you're talking about asking.
But I've said it.
You have no idea whether she has the same mindset as you. All right?
Right.
So I hear you saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry you anyway."
Yeah.
You said, "I'm gonna marry
it's
you anyway,"
happening.
but it's still, I still have to ask her,
It's like
and
the
she still
parents.
has to say,
Still got to talk to Mr.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's one. And then the other part of it also is, you just said now you're 27, and then 3 more years, so we're talking about 30. You know.
Yeah.
Then still again, it still depends.
It
still depends
you want
on
to switch?
Huh?
56. But check this. It still depends on her. All right?
That's
And
the
I
thing.
believe,
That is the thing.
if you guys are really serious, think about it. Training wheels.
Yeah.
You're in it. You're
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah.
Because either you're working on it together. If you're working separately, then you still got to get together and then work on it. So
And-
when do you start to work
on it.
On it.
So right now, I feel like that's where we are right now. It's like we share a small space. So I do the kitchen, I do the living room, she does the room and the bathroom. You know what I mean? And and for me, it's so important because I'm like, if we do want to take this any further, we gotta at least be able to cohabitate, to coexist with as much respect and understanding as possible. So this was something that was a struggle for me beforehand, because I'd be like, listen, man, you work from home, I'm out doing whatever I gotta do, like, you know what I mean, like, and we found some balance in that. But now it's like this is I know where we want to go, so it's something as like this, taking the trash, washing the dishes, making sure the living room's clean is my duty. We are moving towards something together. Let me make sure the dishes, you know what I'm saying? Let me take it that seriously every time. So and it's crazy because I even see how something as simple as that has been such a positive effect in our relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel as if we're trying now to, you know what I mean, walk that path. And there's so much.
You just narrated the simplest part.
You know, but yeah. But honestly, for me, that's like that's
the easy stuff.
Consistently every day, every single time there's dishes, I gotta, you know what I mean. Today, you know, and it was dope because I got from the gym. We got up, did the morning rise in motion. I went to the gym. I got back and I was going to the library to study for this thing. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch this before I head out. And she goes, nah, just go do your studying. I'll get the dishes. You know what I mean? But we're compromising. We're like, you know what I mean? You know, and I know it's just something as simple as the dishes. You know what I mean? But I feel as if we're able to manage these things, you know what I mean? And I feel like our relationship is going to reflect that. You know what I mean? I feel like
for the bigger things.
Can I
explain the 5 years?
Yeah, explain the 5 years. It's been burning there.
Nah, just because I'm real big on psychology. And people react different ways in different okay, so a person might be at space right now mentally and you might think you know them. They can literally switch in the next year.
Yeah.
And it could just be a small situation. A family member could die that you didn't even realize they were close to, and they shut down, and that's a whole different person. It's a whole different personality. No, that happened to me. That literally happened to me with this chick. And so it's just I'm speaking off experiences that I've had. Mm-hmm. So and that was like we were at a 3-year mark at that point. So it's just like 5 years, you get to see the whole scope, the full spectrum of a person. Because everybody has, I feel like everybody has multiple personalities, multiple things in them, regardless of what.
We all wear masks.
Exactly. We do. So, we do. So it's just like, you have to see the full spectrum. And then you have to present the full spectrum, too. Because, that's the whole thing of it. So that's, because like I said, I don't want anything sprung on me that's surprising to me, and I'm already invested into it, and it's just like something that comes left. Like that's what happened to me in that relationship. It's like one of her cousins died, and she shut down and became a whole different person. And I tried, and I stayed with her, and I was like, I can't deal with this. That's too much stress. It's not. It's not saying it wasn't my stress to deal with, but it was too stressful for me to deal with at that time.
Wow, I can
you
empathize with that. I can't because I haven't been particularly in that situation, but you know what I mean. I can empathize with that. I can empathize with there's one big turning point in our relationship, and this is something I might not get too deep into, but was something that took place that I was just not okay with.
Right.
Just extremely not okay with, and I think that was probably one of the big blessings too in disguise. Because I really had to think about if I wanted to do this for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When you hit that point, exactly. When you hit that point, for real. And that is a blessing. That is a blessing.
You start the conversation with the fact, and this gentleman here with the bald heads, I mean, both of you.
I got real short dreads.
Both of you had a beautiful.
The camera can't see you.
Both of you had a very good beginning where you guys spoke about how well your spouses or your girlfriends are a supporting factor in your life, which I think is a beautiful thing. Those are what you actually take from to be able to build who this person is. I know you talk about the idea that, like you said, they could change. You could change as well.
No,
too.
exactly.
We all
very much so.
We all very it's subjective.
It is very subjective.
But I think life depends more on time as well. There's a time factor in almost anything that you do. So if you're saying 5 years from now, the things you don't know 5 years ago, you still don't know them because they said there's no way you can ever get to know a person. You could have been with them for 50, 100 years, you still won't know them because things changes almost every day. So, 5 years from now, you're still at the beginning when the marriage thing
I think part of that too is being at a place where you and the other person, and I think we speak on us because a lot of times you're the only one you really have power over.
Right, exactly.
So that's like how you would do things. But to me, I think a lot of times it's like when you come to a point that you're willing to roll with whatever changes come.
Yeah.
Like for me, like because we've talked about it, and I realized my wording was real jank with my girl, but I finally figured out the way to say it because I was telling her that like I'm willing to accept that this relationship might not work, knowing that I'm still willing to push forward, which made her uncomfortable because that wasn't the right way.
But that's a good. Yeah.
It is, but however, there was a better way to say that, and the better way for me to say that is I'm at a point now where come what may, I choose to fight for this relationship. And so that's the thing that I think is you have to be legit early stages of the relationship as you grow and as you develop. Like you can't be so quick that you want to be with somebody that you're letting things slide that are important to you or whatever. So to me, I think, because some people say, man, sometimes sometimes you meet this person and you go, oh, that's them. And they end up getting married and then they end up getting buried together. And to me, it's like, how? How is it that some people end up dating for 5 years, get married, and now they're on like True TV because they murdered each other after 6 months living in the same house? But then
years of experience. Years of experience. So if you can have a crazy experience
years,
in a short space of time.
Yes, the thing to me about years,
like you can have experience in 2 months.
About putting the time on it is weird. It's almost like it's like a probability thing. There's a probability that you could go a whole year without hitting any of the crazy stuff. Then there's a probability that within 1 year
you can hit all the crazy.
Here's the importance of time, though. The importance of time is the more time you put in, the more probability that you get to see how they handle stress and how the two of you work together to handle stress.
Yes,
and how
this is not science. This is not science.
It's not. I look at it as science. It is science.
You and I know this is not science.
It's not science.
You get in it. And then you start working on it.
Exactly.
That's it. There's no.
And it's a never-ending situation because
you get in it, you work on it.
You work it.
You plant this.
That sums it all up right now. I
love
that.
Tree,
I love that.
It's a little something that's small, but you concrete around it. How foolish! You didn't leave any room to grow. See, so you know this is going to be a big oak tree, and you say you're going to live in this house that the tree is parked is planted in front of.
Right.
And after a while, the sidewalk starts to crack.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, how could this happen? You didn't think so far ahead. We're the same way as people. What we are now, we're going to be hopefully a better version of ourselves.
Sure.
Things are going to happen externally. They're going to help to mold us and form us into something hopefully better, depending on how we take the situation. So what I was 36 years ago at 20 years old, I'm nothing like that. Although I had a little bit of branches in me that would come out and make me that
what
particular
he's saying
tree.
is you're going to blow up, so make sure you got a banging shorty. You blow, you mad big time, you're going to be like...
No, but you might get a banging shorty.
You're messing his head up right now.
No, dude. The crazy thing,
you shouldn't be giving him any advice at all.
The crazy thing for me is just that on top of that, it's like the way that I see my partner is kind of crazy. Because I mean, it seems like the universe has thrown to me what I really want and need most. Because to me, she's fine. She's built the way I like. I didn't even know I liked tall girls.
And it took you 5 years to get that?
No. No. He said to you, okay. Thank you.
You know what I mean?
How many years?
Is it 4?
I took it 4.
Yeah, he knows the joke.
So it took you 4 years.
Right.
So now that it took you 4 years, now you're thinking you have options.
Yeah. No, he's
and that options could be another 4 years then, wouldn't it?
I would also like to point out that I did start to figure out my flirting game. I spent most of my life getting no attention. I started figuring out my game and met a couple people who I also came to realize, because one person that I was with for a short time, but we never became boyfriend and girlfriend, was a person who I really enjoyed their time. They were a lot of fun. They allowed creatively. She and I like got each other, which you don't get that with everybody. But I still was like, oh no. Like I don't want to be with this. I don't want to like be with her like long term. I want to try to marry her, which was weird for me because I realized like I'm not perfect, but at this stage in my life, even when given a person who like throws a lot of the things that you want surface level at you, I was still able to go, you know what? But I know this isn't what I want for long term. So I was with the person who, like, physically we were available.
I like that shirt you're wearing, man.
Thank
it's very
you.
cool.
Yes, thank you. It was
Sure.
Thank you.
Is that a cool word for him to?
It's cool.
No, that's
Yeah.
Oh, he brought it back full circle.
See?
He absorbed that. No, you brought it back full circle.
No, but
You missed that.
You see it, though. Look at that shirt. Look
No,
at
it is still a dope shirt. But
Black Panther. Look, you see that?
It's a cool shirt.
It's a beautiful shirt, man.
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Panther. You know the Olympics when
Right.
I actually, you know what? I'm mad that I can't think of his name, but the two.
Was it Owens?
Jesse Owens.
Jesse Owens. Jesse
No,
Owens.
it wasn't.
It wasn't Jesse Owens.
It was the other dude.
It was
At the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they
Juan
did-
Carlos, I think it was when
yes.
And,
There's
There
a
was
Carlos
another
in there.
dude. Another
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, there are two of them. There's a
one
Carlos
like
in there.
this and one like this. Like, oh, well, hell, what's he
Yeah,
gonna do?
I actually got to speak on the phone with him. Because my mom met him in the airport because she works in Arizona. He was flying through. She was like, oh my God, you're him! And for no reason.
Smith or Juan Carlos.
I think so. But anyway.
Google that.
Google that.
But
Google
but
that.
the,
I
should know it.
the whole thing is just that, like, I've
Alzheimer's
actually
setting in?
completely forgot.
What
You
you
were
were
saying
what you were
that,
saying?
there is
Maybe I bailed you out of,
compatibility.
Oh, he brought
Yeah,
it
There's
in.
a lot of
so-
compatibility, but you were saying, I remember you talking, the last thing you were saying was relationship wise,
let's
she
wrap
had
it up, guys.
things that
Yes.
Oh yeah. So for me, it's just I look at her and I see not only like what I like now, but I see a lot of what I need to be in the future and what I want to achieve. So it's also about finding a person who you really want to go long term with,
Yeah.
and who pushes you to be better.
Yeah.
Now, that's the weird thing that I realized is that when me and Amanda got together, I started not being okay with my own mediocrity. I started being like, what the heck am I doing? I need to be doing better.
They're supposed to motivate us.
Right,
man.
exactly.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah, that was one of the opening stuff.
Well, I'm glad,
yeah.
you know what, honestly, fellas, I'm real glad I came here. I came here to tell jokes, and I feel like I got lied to.
Yes, you got
That's okay.
Tell a joke. Tell a joke.
That's okay.
I
No,
came
actually, no, y'all
I
have.
came here to get frankincense.
Bye, folks. Thank you for watching. Hopefully everybody learned something from watching this.
Oh no.
Make sure to check out the boldest blog at Lancescurv.com and follow Scurv on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube under Lancescurv.